My job is to show you how to go ahead and build this. If you do want to build your own assignment template for teachers or your own assignments, that you'll go ahead and give them a copy of. So I'm going to actually start from scratch today and go over here to the top right-hand corner. Top right-hand corner plus assignment. Now, hitting that button will put us here into an assignment build to build any of the examples that I just showed you. We are going to talk later on today about quiz building, but I want to go ahead and kind of start with an assignment build. Quizzes and assignments are just two different animals. Here we have the rich content editor, and if you watched yesterday's training, you are a veteran now when it comes to using this tool, putting a title and any type of description, things like that in this particular space. I'm going to go ahead and kind of treat this here as a assignment template that I want to go ahead and build for a student or for a teacher. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this what it would be, whether I'm like putting like the word assignment in this space. So assignment with a colon. How about title here? All right, assignment title here. Or you can go ahead and specify title here and week here. So you can go ahead, so the teacher knows that they need to put in some type of value that, hey, this is a week 1 assignment, this is a week 2 assignment, and so on. So it's going to be week and then here. All right, so that's basically all the teacher would need to change in this space. Again, the idea of duplicating this whenever they need something. This could also be assignment template for media, assignment template for file upload, assignment template for text entry. Save them a little bit of time so they don't have to go through the settings and do that. Every time they need a media assignment, it's already pre-set up for them. They just enter in their own title, week, and specific instructions of what they want from the student. All right, so up here at the top, if you do want to use a template, the template already comes with what we call wayfinding icons. That's what you saw, like, for example, when I showed you a couple of my assignment examples, they had like a little icon of an assignment, a little icon of help, a little icon of settings. The templates already have them in it. So if you do want to find them, yesterday we talked a little bit about how you bring your own images in. Well, if you just click right over here to inserting on images, you can search through the course files, the files of this template course, to look for the tools that are provided. So here's all of the images that I added yesterday, but you can kind of look through here and find some images that you want to go ahead and use within this course. I have a couple of things that I may have added in this space, but yeah, if you see something in here like, oh, cool, that looks pretty cool right here, I'll use that the first wayfinding icon right there. Okay, that's where I'm going to put my instructions next to it. So here's what the typical instructions might be in an overview. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that word there, assignment overview. And make sure that you're using the proper headering with this. Right now, this is in a paragraph style format. Just come right over here and just give it a nice header too. Yeah, like that. And then, just put in the instructions of your assignment, like something as simple as insert directions here. All right, because if your job is not to put in specific instructions for a history assignment, you'll hand the baton off to the teacher for that. That's something that they can understand. Like, okay, insert my instructions here. I don't have to go and find this icon or type that out. This is already set up for me. It's pretty plug and play. Right. But if you do have to insert some type of instructions here, like, week 6, review of the Roman Senate, things like that, you would just go ahead and insert it there. But remember, another thing that you can do that I showed you yesterday is that you can go ahead and divide these categories up with horizontal lines. So if I just come over here to insert, how about just put a horizontal line there? And now I just kind of put some guidelines, because this assignment overview would be something to where I talk about what this assignment is about, right? This is basically a week 1 assignment over our chapter 1 reading and so on, and what I'd like from the student. Down here below would be instructions on what I want them to give me. Do I want them to do a file upload? What's going to be in that file upload? If they do, like, for example, a document, is it 500 words? Is it record yourself, 5 minutes, things like that. So I would just go ahead and kind of have a fine separation of what the assignment is about and what I want the student to give me, right? So again, another wayfinding icon right here, upload an it. Oops, not upload. We want to go ahead and use what this template has within it, insert an image, and look at the course images. And again, tons of content in this particular space. How about this one? I'm just kind of just plugging them in here. And this is going to be like guidelines. Just hit the return. Again, I kind of want this to stand out, so I just highlight that and use headering. And if some of you are wondering, wait, where's header 1 at? Header 1 is always going to be the title by default. All right, then header 2, 3, and so on. All right, guidelines, insert. What would I insert here? What instructions on how to submit. Good thing we have a spell check there. Instructions. And sometimes you can go ahead and just kind of put this in bold. If you want to put it in red there, that's fine. And then down here below, I'm going to go ahead and just add another horizontal line. And remember, your template has all of this in it, but I'm just going to show you if you did want to go ahead and create your own custom template, it's about as simple as this, right? So last thing that I usually put at the very end is a small technical piece. Technical piece could be technical support. This is now focused on the student if they need any help. Where do they go to get assistance? Like, I don't know how to submit to this assignment. I'm having trouble. What are their resources, right? Yes, there is the help option right here on the and the global navigation menu, but sometimes if it helps just putting a quick Canvas guide for students on how to submit to this type of assignment, I'll do that. I've actually got something ready here, but let me go ahead and insert another wayfinding icon. So just take a look at the course images one more time, things that are already in this course. As soon as it loads, I could just kind of just blindly choose something here. Come on now. Do I have anything for settings? Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of choose one at random. Okay, this is scary. All right, how about this one? What is that going to be? Okay, hey, wow. Check that out. It's just more or less like it's just loading everything right now. This is going to be technical support. Or if you need help. And just make that at a header 2. And I include this. Let me go ahead and just copy and paste this in. So need help using Canvas assignments, please review the following guide. That's a guide from for students in the Canvas community. I'm going to go ahead and actually give you all of the guides right here in the chat. You can actually kind of peruse them based on role. These are guides for students, teachers, parents, administrators. Yeah, I just went ahead and put that into the chat. I'll just open this up just real quickly to show you that if you're in this space, if you come over here, it's like, hey, I need to put a couple of, I'm building a quiz. I'd like to be able to put a quick student guide on quizzes. I can come right over here. I can even include a video if I want to, because our videos and our guides are role specific. So I can find a guide for students on quizzes. If I come over here to the guides for students, and again, I'm building a quiz and I want to put that little technical support piece, I come over here to the quizzes area. It's like, how do I view quizzes as a student? How do I take a quiz? All of this is from a student perspective. And I just take this link. Well, I can review it first and see how that's step by step, take the quiz and so on. Yeah, I could come back, just grab that link, just copy it, copy this right here and take it back to the whatever assignment I'm building. Say this is a quiz and just paste that in. How do I take a quiz? And that it gives the student the guide, right? So go ahead and make sure that you bookmark all of those guides if you're building parent guides, especially, for example, K through 4. Here's some resources for parents, and just put the entire link for parents there, for observers. This is just another helping hand that we can do for our students. And you're building it once, right? You're building the template. Teachers will be responsible for filling out all of this content. All right. Well, anyways, let me go ahead and kind of save this to show you what it looks like, and then we're going to get into the build down here below. But let me just save it. Oh, yep, I do have to choose a type. So let me go ahead and just put something there and save it now. Oh, you got to add a due date. Let me go ahead and just uncheck this and see if it allows me to do it. All right, I just wanted to go ahead and show you what this looks like now, but something as simple as this can be reused again and again and again. You just hit duplicate as a teacher and I mean, do I need to even type this out? I can just go ahead and use the rich content editor to insert a document as a teacher that has the instructions of the assignment. Guidelines, if I already have a Google Drive document as a teacher, I can go ahead and link it right here as I showed at the beginning of the training to where here's some reading, right? And of course, to help them out, link directly to a guide that is built specifically for students to read on how to submit to this assignment. All right. How many of you think you might utilize this process right here? I mean, if anything, let's go ahead and say, Carrie, how do you link that? Carrie, are you asking specifically, like, how do I link this right here? I just went ahead and copied the link and pasted that in, meaning I literally went here and said, you know what, I'm building a quiz right now. I just basically kind of right-clicked over here and copied it, and just pasted it right, and just took it back over here in the rich content editor and just pasted it right in. Yep. And if you want to know more about creating hyperlinks, I definitely encourage you to watch yesterday's training. We kind of go in depth using the rich content editor, using best practices on adding hyperlinks, buttons, images, and so on. And like I said, the assignment template comes with a ton of different icons that you can use already. So you don't have to worry about, I have to import a bunch of icons too. No, it's already in the course. You just, it comes with all those tools, banner options, things like that. All you're doing is just kind of selecting and choosing and, kind of putting your imprint on this course. All right. Well, anyways, let's talk a little bit about some settings that you want to be aware of. Coming down here below, we've got some settings that are very similar from one assignment to the next, meaning that if you build a quiz, if you build a discussion, if you build an assignment, you're going to see similarities between them when it comes to the actual settings. For example, discussions and assignments, if they're graded, there's going to be an option to put points here. Now, if you feel like, okay, points, maybe that's a teacher's decision on what points it is, you can just go ahead and set a point value. They can change it on their own. If you want to leave it at 0, that's fine. You know who you are as far as whether or not this is your job to do this. If you want to set it at points, that's fine. If you want to go ahead and change the display of how it will be, it could be displayed as percentages now, pass, fail, or a letter grade, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. But the thing is that I can go ahead and leave it as points. If this is a practice assignment, or if you ever get requests like, hey, can you create me a practice assignment? I don't want this to count towards a grade. Yeah, that's it. Just turn that on. Call it practice assignment now. Still allows the students to make a submission, allows feedback, but nothing affects the grade. Submission type. We've gone over this where I've shown you all of the different types to choose from: text entry, file upload, media recording, and website URL. One thing to note about file upload. File upload, you can actually restrict file types. So you can actually say, you know what, I only want PowerPoint files. I only want PDFs. I only want doc files. It will let the student know that if this is an assignment that where I'm requiring just docs, if the student's trying to upload a PDF or a PowerPoint, it will warn them this file or this format is not an accepted type. Please go ahead and submit one of these two. It'll go ahead and let the student know. That might be a little bit of granularity that you're not going to get into, but it's an option that you can let teachers know that you have within a Canvas course. Also note right here, I could potentially give the student every single one of these options to submit. Sometimes it might be easier for a student to submit a text entry. Sometimes it might be easier for them to access their Google Drive or turn on the camera. So yeah, you can always choose more than one. In fact, sometimes I've seen things like this to where the teacher gives choice. Turn in a 5-minute video essay or a 500-word essay. The student then makes a choice, but the thing is, all of those submissions end up in the Canvas speed grader in the gradebook for evaluation in a single space. One thing to note about Studio, we talked a little bit about Studio yesterday and its use cases within the classroom. If this is going to be a Studio assignment where the student uses Studio to turn in a video, you have to just select File Upload. Hitting media recordings, that is not Studio. That is the default media player within Canvas. That's just like you going into the rich content editor, inserting a video, right? Or creating a video, but that is not Studio. Studio options are available under File Upload. Another place that it could be available for is the text entry, because it gives the student a box to type in. Guess what box that is? It's the rich content editor right here. And if you can access Studio in the rich content editor, you can go ahead and insert a video using text entry. All right. So it just kind of depends on those Studio assignments, whether or not you want to go ahead and kind of give them a nice walkthrough of when they go to the text entry, how they would use that for a Studio submission, or maybe a nice walkthrough that when they come in here to the file uploads, how to access that Studio button. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and leave multiple submission options to be on because we are going to use that in the activities today. Coming down over here, talking a little bit about submission attempts. What exactly does that mean? Submission attempts for this assignment just means how many times you can turn something in to be reviewed. I usually leave it as unlimited. As a curriculum designer, you might want to do that as well and leave it up to the teacher to decide how many attempts something will be sent in. Also, group assignments. This could be a template of a group assignment, but I usually leave group assignment building to the teacher because they've got to assign groups that they create in their courses to this assignment. So by default, all Canvas assignments are assigned to the individual. And I do the same thing for peer review. Let them build the peer review in their course and assign which student gets which item to review. Now, when it comes to a student information system, by default, that is turned on. Now, I do recommend if you have a student information system, leave that on. When it comes to practice assignments, you can make that decision, but let them know, hey, if you do a practice assignment, maybe don't have it sync because it doesn't need to go into any type of student information system if it's just practice. But for this particular case, let's go ahead and just kind of keep it as a gradable content piece or a gradable template that the teacher can go ahead and mold as their own. So I usually kind of leave that turned on so the teacher doesn't have to go in and remember to turn this on every single time. It's on by default. And then finally down here at the bottom, usually as curriculum designers, we don't need to assign this to any individual. We leave this basically up to the teacher to decide what due date this is going to be. We may have even gone in and, as I showed you in the assignment index, kind of removed all the due dates because it's the teacher's prerogative of when they would go ahead and assign this work. Now, here's the thing that you need to understand is that using this tool is that if we try to save this right now, because we have it turned on right there, if I try to hit save, it's going to require a due date. All right. So you need to make a choice as far as your process goes. Do you now say, okay, we need to let them know to turn this on right there so I don't have to put a due date in? Or do we leave it on and put some type of due date that the teacher just changes on their own? But it does require it. You notice right over here, if I select that, I have to put a due date in. If I deselect that, I don't need to put a due date, but a teacher could potentially not check that option, right? So what is the safe bet? Leave that on and then just add a due date for whenever class starts and let them know up here at the top in the template, modify due dates as needed. All right, so basically come right over here, just another, maybe something in caps, please change due date as needed. Okay, so right over here. So you can kind of let me know what your process would be. I kind of feel that, just for the sake of not putting a due date there, teachers could potentially forget to turn that on, right? But if I just come over here, say that, I know that classes start, not June 1st. What's going on? That's not summer school. It starts maybe Wednesday, September 1st, right? That's fine. They can always change that. If it's prompted up here, change the due date as needed. Everything's due on September 1st. It's just that we have to have a due date for Infinite Campus. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just save this for now. I usually don't publish it. Oh, it's too long. Is this too long? Well, I guess we just have to kind of shorten it, I suppose. So this is going to be like maybe a 1.1 and or maybe title here. Let's see if that fits. Still too long. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So let's see here. Just shorten this up here. How about title? I'm hoping this works. Okay. Hopefully you all kind of like see, maybe I'll put that right there in the template instead. Let me go ahead and just kind of remove that. Title, week here. This is kind of my thinking process. If I was building this and I was working with student information system, this is more important that remain on than my need to not put a due date there. And again, you can always show that in that assignment bulk edit, everything's due on September 1st. Well, just basically open that up and change the dates all in a single line. All right. So how about I save it now? Maybe that'll work. All right. Perfect. That's pretty obvious, right? Please change due date as needed. Pretty rare if you have any teachers that leave that on there so the student can read that. But yeah, this is a plug and play concept. To where the teacher will build the rest of this assignment up, remove the things that, obviously is in template format. They'll actually add a title, put what week that assignment is basically placed in or what lesson plan it's in, unit 1.2, 3, 4. They'll change the due date as needed. But yeah, this is basically my job is, making this in a structure that provides consistency for students. It also is user-friendly for teachers to change on their own. I just give them one copy of it, but maybe demonstrate in a small training. It's like, hey, you see this? I know I only gave you one assignment, but check this out. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. You now have 4 assignments. All right. So just kind of keep this as a tool that you would use in the course in the background whenever you need this type of assignment. All right. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and let you try to build something like this. A couple things about this of what I've built today. I've built something that I'm going to go ahead and save and publish. All right, because we want to kind of see what the student does with this assignment. So it's saved and published. It may be due in September 1st, but I don't have any restrictions on how to submit to it, meaning I don't have availability dates there that prevent the student from submitting. We talked a little bit about the concept of availability dates in the past, and that's just a window of time of when the student can actually submit to this assignment. And usually, as curriculum designers, we don't set a limit. We don't limit the students. We don't limit the teachers. We basically provide these materials for them, and they decide the limits themselves. So I've got a published assignment here that has multiple types of submission. Right. So basically text entry, media recording, file upload, things like that. All right. That's important because we're going to go ahead and kind of take a look at what this looks like through the eyes of a test student. So let's go ahead and get you trying this out. I'd like you to go ahead and select the plus assignment button. I'd like you to add some clear instructions in your assignment build today. Remember, those templates have icons there, but if you're working out of kind of a blank course right now, if you want to upload images and kind of shrink them down as wayfinders, that's completely fine. But add some clear instructions as I did, at least the clear instructions of a template. Right. And these are instructions more or less for what a teacher has to do, like insert your instructions here, insert how the student's going to submit the assignment here, and maybe a small technical support piece with some links from the Canvas student guides. When it comes to this assignment settings, I'll leave it up to you, but set a couple of options for online submission type. All right. The online submission type gives you those 4 choices. But if you notice in the online submission type, that is a drop down menu. If you want to go with on paper or non submission for presentations, you can do that as well. But today, let's go ahead and do an online submission type with a couple of options. Save and publish your assignment. We will be using this in a couple of activities. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to build this. So let's go ahead and take about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat. All right, everybody. So if your assignment is not perfect that you're building right now, if it's not as clean as, well, I wouldn't consider this the cleanest, but if you, don't worry about it. All right, you'll always have time to practice here. I just wanted to kind of show you just kind of step by step how you could go ahead and kind of design something like this. And if you need to embellish it a little bit more, it's like, hey, I actually build geometry content. Yeah, you know basically how to word those phrases. Again, this is just what we typically see in a Canvas course that's used as a template, plug and play for the teachers to go ahead and change it on their own. And remember, again, I can use duplication at any time to create 50 of these copies in the course as needed. I can also send a copy of this. Remember yesterday, as I showed, there is the ability of coming right over here to the option to send to. I can go ahead and send a copy over to Neil, for example. Let me just take a look here. Neil, there we go. Just sent you a copy, Neil. You get to share a little piece like that. Or if this is my sandbox course, but I get a request from a teacher, it's like, hey, I need a copy of a template. You could put this into the Commons. I could come right over here, share to the Commons. If I'm collaborating or if I'm building another course and I've got a couple of teachers or a couple of curriculum designers in another course working together, if I'm part of that course, meaning I have some kind of enrollment capacity in it, I could copy to. That means just send a copy of this piece to another course that I'm in, and they can use it in their course. So a lot of different ways that, when it comes to curriculum designers that Canvas gives you to collaborate, to build together. You don't necessarily all have to be in a single course together building. I could be building this independently, but I'm also part of 2 other course projects. I could send this copy over to another course as needed and kind of keep this private, I suppose. All right, let me show you an example of something. This is an elementary course, elementary class, and I've got an assignment to where they're going to build a catapult. All right, small catapult in class, little project. All right. Well, I've got screenshots of what the student needs to do. I've got a quick video tutorial right here. I'm really going above and beyond on this assignment, by the way, if you haven't noticed. I've even included a picture of how it's going to look down here. I want to focus on this. right here. What we can do to help a student be successful when it comes to certain assignment types, file uploads, media recordings, and so on, and things that we can add using our studio tool. So I'm going to come back over here. Let's go ahead and come back over here into my assignment. And you know what? Before we do that, I think you all have earned a break. We're about halfway through our training session today. I'm sorry I went about 5 minutes over, but I think it's time for a bio break. Grab a beverage, stretch your legs, walk around outside. Let's go ahead and do that. So again, 10 minutes. We'll go ahead and see you back over here at 10:46, and we'll pick this back up. All right, everybody, welcome back. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and just jump right back in over here because I showed you an example of an elementary class on what I can do as far as kind of showing them what they need to do when it comes to making a submission. I've even included a studio video right here. The process of how we would do this when it comes to adding studio video, it's going to be a little different because if we're curriculum designers, we don't want to put any linked video. We don't want to link from our studio account into a course that we're about to send a copy off to, right? So we're going to be using the embed or share feature in Studio, but there's a specific tool within Studio we're going to use, which is called screen capture. So let's go ahead and kind of start with the basics with this assignment that we created. Again, it's a published assignment with a couple of different submission types. If we have a student view, all right, meaning that we can get the perspective of what a third grader is going to go through when it comes to submitting the assignment. We can also add those instructions here, whether it's going to be screenshots with arrows and steps, if it's going to be point by point video screen capture instructions. But yeah, we can use the student view. So this is what I normally do, depending on the reading level, is I might put in here, if this was a file upload assignment, a media assignment, or a text entry assignment, I might have 3 templates, one for each, and say, this is a text entry template, media template. This is a file upload template, and put the specific instructions or screenshots as needed to successfully submit to that assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and use the student view, coming over here to the assignment we just built. And notice that there's a start assignment button there. So if you want to, depending if you're on I think all of you are on PCs. So if you kind of do a keyword search on a PC, you should be able to have what's called a snipping tool. It's the ability to take a screenshot of something on the screen. So if I just want to take a screenshot of this right here, I mean, on my computer, I'm on a Mac, so I can go Shift Command 4 and just take a picture of that button. All right. Does everyone have some type of, they call it snipping tools on your machine? Or have you ever used a snipping tool on your computer to just take a quick screenshot of something on the screen? I'm going to show how you can benefit from that. So I've just taken a screenshot of the first step. Click on there. The student gets sent to this location. All right. So what do I want the student to do in this? So usually what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this right about here, this little box. And maybe I'll take it to about, maybe right about here, depending on the tools that they have. So maybe I'll go about right here if they need to access Google Drive or, the LTI 1.3. I'll take a screenshot of this right about here. All right. And do that. Okay, perfect. Then, if I need to, just kind of go through more of the process, there's the upload file option, choose file, grab a file, and then make a submission to the assignment. And once I'm done, submit assignment. But I think with that last screenshot I just took, I could kind of do arrows, step 1, step 2, step 3, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the student view. I think I've got what I need. Again, this is also an evaluation for yourself to determine whether or not the guidelines or the actual instructions on how to submit the assignment will be clear enough for this particular grade level. Do they need more? They need more than screenshots of what they're about to do, right? So let me show you how I would use Studio for this instead. All right, so I've got screenshots. I'm going to use both and I'll let you decide. But as curriculum designers, when it comes to Studio, one, that's going above and beyond, and two, we have to do it a little bit differently than how a teacher would use Studio in a classroom, because again, we want to embed video. We don't want to link to our Studio accounts. All right, so if I need to use Studio in this space, I would go ahead and open Studio first. So let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to go ahead and open up Studio. Remember, I could just open up Studio right here by just hitting Edit and opening up the Studio option here. And it gives us an option to record. I'm going to eventually want to record a student making a submission to this assignment. How would they do? What are the point-by-point clicks? So I'm going to hit the record option. It's going to give me the ability to do screen capture. Okay, but remember how I got here. I had to open up this assignment by hitting edit and go through the rich content editor. And I'm just going to open that screen recorder. And it should give me a perimeter of my screen. Do you see it right here now, the perimeter, and I've got my face down at the bottom. Now, if you don't want to be included in that video, your face, just go ahead and switch it right here to where it says screen. And now this is a demonstration of how to submit to this assignment. You can choose to be on the audio or not on the audio if you need to. When I record computer sounds, I do want it to do computer sounds. All right, so let me go ahead and just make sure that the microphone is selected correctly. Yep, Yeti microphone, that's me. Because I'm going to give like step-by-steps what I want them to do. So narration, perfect. I don't want to be on camera. I've got the perimeter set, meaning if I need to kind of shorten what's going to be recorded on the screen, yeah, screen recording. Okay, so that's good to go. So right now I'm going to ignore this for a second because I need to get this back to the student view. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of close this out here. See, it's still got the record option available. I'm definitely going to get out of this assignment build area. So let me go ahead and just kind of save what I have here just to kind of get back over here to use, because the idea here was just to use the student view. So what did I do? I opened up the assignment just to start this up. It's still able, I can still use it. So now I'm going to go in student view. All right, now I can start the recording. Okay, so hit my record button. Hi students, this is a quick tutorial on how to send in a Studio video assignment. Well, first you have to hit Start Assignment. It's going to open up this window. And where is Studio? Well, if you click on More, the Studio option is here. It's the last one. You want to go ahead and select it. Once it opens up your Studio library, go ahead and choose a video that you've prepared, or go ahead and start your recording with a webcam capture. After you start your recording, hey everybody, this is my recording, hit finish. And then give it a title and save media. Once your video is available, go ahead and select it. And for this assignment, depending on your teacher's instructions, use your comments or turn it off. When you're ready, hit embed. And you're pretty much ready to go. All you have to do now is submit assignment. And that's how you do a Studio video submission. If you need to make another attempt, click on this option here in the top right-hand corner. Have a great day. All right, so you may have done it that way. You may have done it a little bit differently, but the idea here is to create a resource that you can use at any time a studio assignment would need to be created in a course. And that was step by step. And you can see that there might have been a little bit of confusion if you didn't have that, because Studio is not something that is just right there front and center. You have to kind of go through and click through to find it. And once you've got Studio open, what are the point-by-point clicks that you need to do to submit that video? Right. So here's what you would need to do next as a curriculum designer in order to get these instructions into the instructions right here. You would want to go ahead and hit done with your recording. I'd already stopped the recording. I'm going to go ahead and go with done now. And this is what it gives you. This little screen opens up over here for me. I think I'm good to go. This is going to be my Studio sub instructions. How to submit to a Studio assignment, just hit upload. And now this is uploading to your Studio library. Now, we are not going to link this Studio video in the course. We're going to go ahead and grab the shareable embed of this video, the public link for it, so it could be put into any Canvas course copy at your institution. That copy can then be copied through Blueprint, put into the Commons, put into another course. It's just like any other video embed at that point, but it's specifically for, in this case, Studio instructions, a video on how to submit in this space. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue, and we're good to go. Okay, Woody, where is that video? How do I get it? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and leave the student view real quick. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Let me just take a look here at Studio for the student view. That should be just that that small video that I made as a student. No problem. Let me go back. Leave the student view and access your own Studio library now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Studio here. Now I'm a course designer again. And there's my Studio instructions. I need to use this in like 25 courses that use Studio. All right. So how do I use this? Well, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Share Media option, which is right here. And I'm going to create a public link for it. This is what you need. You need the embed code for it. So I'm going to grab that whole embed code and just copy it. Take myself back over to the assignment. And it looks like, wow, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work for one thing, because this is going to be my Studio assignment template. I'm going to hit edit, and I'm going to put that video right under the guidelines by using the insert embed option. So I'm going to go ahead and hit insert, embed, and put that in. That's not going to have the ability for adding comments. The students just watch it. And this is what it's going to look like. And I just have the volume muted here. But the thing is that once the student completes, you can see like right over here, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go to a full screen. You'll be able to see that every time my point-by-point clicks, it's got a little halo around that. So the student just, comes over here. They're going to hear my voice through it and then choose Studio. And that's how they can go ahead and submit to that assignment. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. But yeah, it's nice to have some video instruction in place. It's just there's a different way that we have to do it as designers. We're not the teacher of the course, so we can't just link one of our videos in. We need to grab the public link or the embed for whatever we create. But hey, guess what? Anytime I ever need that video again to put it into another course, it's a tool right here that I can just grab the media and grab that embed code, drop into a course that does Studio, create a screencast for file upload, text entry, all of those different types of assignments. I just create it once, and now I have that embed code to use in any course that I'm building. How many do you think you might use that or play with that? In fact, I can just go ahead and take that embed code and drop it right here in the chat. Any of you could use that now. Yes, it's a screen capture tool. All right. Let me also give you the copies of these other items. I created copies of file uploads and text entries and just regular media, meaning the screen capture concept. So those are literally three links right there. I think if you just click on one, it does give you this option. Like, for example, right here, the first one is make a copy of the screen, the text entry. When you make a copy of it, it opens up in Google Drawing. And yeah, that's basically a screenshot of what the student would see. You can go ahead and insert arrows into this space. Like, for example, right here, insert a shape, or maybe how about a text box right here? Type out essay. I'm just kind of spitballing here. Type out your essay. Maybe that's step one. And then step two, down here below, insert another text box. Stirp. Step two, submit assignment. You want to go ahead and kind of make sure that, when you go into student view, it looks like this. This might be a different view from, some of the tools that you have here. So if you want to use this to maybe point out, like, add an image, you'd maybe put an arrow right here on step one, click here, select an image, submit assignment. But this is just a way to kind of play with this. So submit assignment. All right. And when you're done, you just, save. Oh, by the way, if you want to know how to put an arrow, just insert. They've got images. I'm sorry, insert shapes. See the arrows right there? Let's put an arrow right here. Rotate it a little bit. I don't know. 180 degrees right there. Perfect. Move it into position. Kind of increase the size of it if you want to. Make it red, but just kind of filling up that little paint box. There we go. Yeah, something like that, right? And when you're done, you just download it as a PNG or JPEG and use it. But you have this template now that you can just go ahead and that you screenshot as a test student, that you can go ahead and kind of manipulate the instructions as needed. If they have to do images, if they have to upload media, how they access Studio in this space. And you go step one, step two, arrows as needed to kind of get that effect, similar to what we have right here in this assignment, right? So once you've got that download, if I wanted to put it in here, I'm just going to hit edit. And let me put it underneath my Studio assignment just to show you what it would look like. Or maybe let me get rid of this and kind of hit edit, insert image, and drag that in. For those who are kind of wondering about alt text, in alt text, I would basically do the exact same thing. It would just say step one, type out your essay. Step two, submit assignment. The screen reader will read exactly what I have on the screen step by step. And what does this look like now? Let me just hit save. Yeah, that's the way to put the student's experience right in front of them. And if this is a text entry template, remember, you can just hit the duplicate option and this image will be as a visual instruction in all of your text entry template assignments. And I think I just gave you 3 templates for it, the text entry, media recording, and file upload. Studio is a little bit of a different animal on how to access it as a student. So it's nice to give them clear instructions. And I usually like the concept of a screencast, capturing what I'm doing on the screen. Just remember, use their perspective as a test student. Will you get it perfect every time? I didn't. So just kind of practice with it. things like that. All right, everybody. Well, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give you some time to build things like this, like, go in the student view. That's the reason why I have this submitting many different types, text entry, media, file upload. So you can see what that is like, right? And then take a couple of screenshots, keep them for yourself. And you're kind of like, well, I probably won't do like a red arrow there. I might do Comic Sans in my font, or I might put, 3 steps. I might put this in Spanish, right? So those are just a couple of things to consider, but we have all the tools we need to just go into the student view and capture that experience. If you're doing this for 3rd grade, 4th grade, what do these instructions need to look like? Is it typed out like a, 11th grade geometry course? Or is it, more, user-friendly, when it comes to visuals, right? And you can do all of that in this particular space. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some time to do it. So use a student view. Create yourselves a couple of screenshotted materials. I've given you 3 templates to choose from, but just make sure that they're compatible, right? So I think the student view for file uploads has been updated to include webcam options to take a photograph. You can go ahead and just create a new one. You now know that you can put it into Google Drawing, or maybe take one of those templates that I gave you and remove my image and put your new image in it. That's up to you. Take screenshots. If you want to go above and beyond, practice with studio screen capturing. It is a little bit of a process, but you'll be able to watch this training afterwards and see how I do it step by step. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes on this one, because there's a couple of screenshots to take, but it's nice to kind of consider this concept when you're building work. And I can tell you right now, if you already have a template in place, sometimes all you're doing is just adding a couple of just extra screenshots into the templates that teachers are going to receive, and they're going to really appreciate that. They're like, so technically they don't go in and have to do this, or maybe they're not thinking about it. If you've ever considered like what is the most reported issue within Canvas, meaning something that gets called in all the time, it's student submissions. Student doesn't know how to submit a studio assignment. They don't know how to do a media upload or a file upload because, well, when you look at the templates, how they come, well, they don't have those screenshots. They just have, insert your instructions here. Well, maybe teachers who are new to Canvas as well, they don't know exactly what that experience is like. They just say, okay, upload a Google Doc. Okay, how do I do that? Well, step 1, click on start this assignment. Step 2, click on the Google Drive tab. You can go ahead and kind of direct them into that space. I love having that visual there in my assignments. Other than that, if you got any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. All right, how are we doing? I just want to share one more tip with you. I was kind of thinking about my studio screen capture process. I showed you the process that if you're at the assignment, you can open it up, access Studio within the rich content editor, then kind of close all that stuff out and access the test student. But my process might, change. Like, for example, what if I had to do a couple of videos that day? So what I normally do as a designer, if I have to do it, is I'll have one tab open in Studio, my Studio instance, and I'll have like the other tab in Canvas, because this allows me to go over here and like, okay, I need to build something. I need to put some video instructions here. I just come over here to Studio, the other tab, and just hit the record option here. Go to screen capture. Doesn't matter. It's just going to, I can now tab back over is my point. So it's loading up the screen capture tool while I'm in Studio. It's like, okay, I don't want to record this, but I do want to record this tab, right? Or I've got another course that I'm building over here. I want to basically teach about what the to-do list is about. I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about homepage setup in this space. So that's what I normally do, is I keep Studio kind of open here in the background, that if I need to access the screen capture tool, I can just, I need to make videos instructions for this assignment. Okay, I can just go directly to the student view, record everything I have, then head back over here to Studio to grab the embed and then insert it into the instruction. So however you do it, whether you're at the instructions itself and go through Studio through the rich content editor and then close everything out to be the test student, or just have Studio open in the background and just hit the record, screen capture, and just kind of keep this kind of open in the space. Just tab to whatever you need to record and then start the recording process. That's kind of like my process as well. All right, so I'm just going to hit cancel, and hopefully everyone kind of like took away a benefit from that as far as like what you can do now when it comes to designing assignments for different grade levels and different topics.